tell you, he makes things happen. Watch this. It's a screen pass. He's going to try and throw the screen pass to Dorsett, 33 out here. Watch him. He's out there. He's covered. He can't throw it. So he said, okay, I'll scramble a little, look downfield, see what I have. Oh, there's a guy right there. Tony Hill, touchdown. Now, that's a heck of a play. When you call a screen pass in the huddle and you throw a touchdown in the end zone to another guy, that's good awareness.
Rafael Septien out of Toronto's hold. Dallas 26 now. Philadelphia 13. Septien makes it 27-13. 1:51 left to play. "36 yards, 7 plays. They kept the ball 4 minutes, 48 seconds, and they lead 27-13. Dallas 27, Philadelphia 13. There has been some criticism of Danny White. Today, he is 20 out of 23 for 237 yards and 2 touchdowns. Major effort. Continuing with the Danny White tribute. Only 1 incompletion in his last 15 attempts. That was the interception when he was hit in the back.
And last week, he threw 5 touchdown passes against the Giants.
Hard to criticize.
Like to have a quarterback like that.
Tonight on CBS, don't forget 60 Minutes. Dallas, Trafford John M.D. Regular Sunday night lineup. Jaworski. People scrambling around in front of him. He waves his arms, throws. Pass is incomplete. Intended for Glen Young. Under a lot of pressure, Everson Walls, the defender, along with Ron Fellows. 1:40 left to play, and the clock is stopped. Cowboys 27, Eagles 13. 9 wins, 9-1 for Dallas, and that just about, no matter what happens the rest of the way, although I'm not saying that the best won't happen, but 9 wins will just about get you into the playoffs.
You don't need many more than that.
Second and 10 from the 29. 1:40 left to play as Jaworski goes back. Dallas now. Those defensive linemen roaming on the loose. Intended for Carmichael. Downs right behind him, incomplete.
You're talking about those defensive linemen of the Cowboys. I think we're starting to see more and more of Don Smirek and Larry Bethea. And I think that, you know, they've talked about that thing, Harvey Martin, right end, whether he's going to have the position or Bethea is. And it looks like they're about ready to make that switch. I think Bethea for Harvey Martin. But this Smirek's in there a lot, that big 60 there.
He does a lot of thrashing. You know, you see his arms waving all the time. And helmets coming unstrapped and things when he's in there.
Gets to push up the middle. Big push in the middle.
Jaworski deep for Young. Got it. Touchdown, Philadelphia. Thurman was back there with him. Fellows had a shot at him. But Glen Young comes up with an Eagle touchdown.
I tell you, it looked like he just stayed with it a little longer than the defenders. Watch this, the ball is well thrown. See, he has to just slow up a little there. And what he did is he slowed up more. He slowed up, and Fellows kept on going, and he made a better judgment, Glen Young did, than Ron Fellows. But that's tough. You know, if the ball is thrown properly out in front, Fellows is probably in good position. But it's a little short, and Glen Young makes the adjustment and comes back and catches it in front of Fellows.
So our business is not done yet. 27-20 as Tony Franklin adds the extra point. 71 yards in 3 plays, 27 seconds it took the Eagles.
I tell you, it was pretty good pass protection here. You see, they give him that thing where he can step up and throw the ball, and he gets it done.
27-20. Plays Jaworski a 71-yard pass to Young, and it's 27-20. Dallas is expecting an onside kick. Franklin on the other side of the ball from where he would normally be.
They have a shift.
All the Eagles come this way. Onside kick attempt. Franklin kicks it out of bounds, and all the referees and all the officials get a chance to throw some yellow.
This is an interesting thing here. With 1:24 left and all your timeouts, I would think that you can just kick the ball down, play good, solid, penetrating defense, use your timeouts and get the ball back. You know, an onside kick is kind of a one-shot thing. You either get the ball and you have a chance, or if you don't get the ball, the game's over. So now what the Eagles are doing, it looks like they line up 5 on each side of the ball, the kicker in the middle, and they're going to shift all 10 to one side and then kick it to that side. Here comes the shift.
There's only one way he can kick it from that side. Still got to go 10 yards. It does. Butch Johnson has it and jumps on the ground, and the Cowboys take over.
I never like to kick an onside kick in an obvious onside situation because they're ready for it and they should get it. That's what happened there. And really now, for all intent and purposes, the game is over. Had they kicked the ball off, used their 3 timeouts, then they would still get the ball back and have a shot at it.
Green Bay 28, Cleveland 14. Minnesota trailing Tampa Bay 17-12 fourth quarter, and those two, Minnesota and Green Bay, each with a chance to take the lead in the NFC Central, will battle next week. Here again, Bob. The Eagles will be at Chicago. That'll be our feature game next week. This is Springs. Springs breaks a couple of tackles. Gets down to about the Philadelphia 36. Randy Logan tripped him up. Well, now, the next time we see Tony Franklin, I see that he has a disadvantage because there are a lot of those soccer-style kickers who can kick onside kicks with either the left foot or the right foot in either direction. And apparently he can, or doesn't, won't, whatever.
I have to say, you know, it was interesting. Tom Landry said earlier this week, he said right now the Redskins are playing the best football in the league.
They don't have the best record, but they're not far from it. White to Springs, and Ron Springs cuts back inside. Ron Springs fumbles, and the Eagles will have it. And we were talking about earlier that Springs had not fumbled very often. He almost had a touchdown. He lost the football. Joel Williams makes the recovery.
Which is now Ron Springs. You see, they fakes to Dorsett in here, rolls out. Springs goes out into the flat. He catches the ball here. There's no one on him. Look, he runs up the field here, and then he starts to cut back. You know, had he gone out of bounds there, it would have been okay. He cuts back, and now he starts to finish off the run right here, and the ball is knocked out.
Dennis Harrison is the injured Eagle.
He's a heck of a nice guy, too.
Yes.
We were talking to him yesterday, and he's having a good year. He's leading the team in sacks, and he's quite a guy.
A minute, 5 seconds left to play. The Eagles down to 1 timeout now. They have the football at their own 5. Jaworski back in the end zone, throwing out of the end zone and throwing complete. That's Mike Quick. About a 5-yard gain out to the 10. A little bit of room. Jaworski saying, let's go, let's hurry up. We watched them work on their 2-minute drill yesterday. And they executed it very well. They only have 1 timeout left. Jaworski. Incomplete to Quick. Everson Walls was the nearest Dallas defender.
Tell you, they had good coverage out here.
There's just looking at the physicians that it's not that serious. Other scores. Green Bay 28, Cleveland 14, fourth quarter. Cincinnati 55, Houston 7. Kansas City 20. The Raiders 14. John McAvick has done quite a job.
The Raiders always have a tough time in Kansas City.
On third down, Jaworski goes up the middle. And Quick has it from Jaworski. The ball was halfway there before Quick ever looked back. Dennis Thurman on the tackle. The Eagles hustle up.
I think they've taken their timeout now. I think they've taken their last timeout. Only 29 seconds and no timeout. So they're going to have to direct the ball to the sidelines. They have to get out of bounds to stop the clock.
Mike Quick is over 100 yards in receptions for the 5th time this year. Dallas showing blitz. Now they back out. And they do back out. Batted away. Oliver can't quite get back in time. Ed Jones got a hand on it. It seems like at least once a game he does that.
And it's always towards the end of the game. It seems like the first half, you don't hear a lot about Ed Too Tall Jones. And then in that second half, that third and fourth quarter, he's always getting a ball, getting a sack, batting a ball, doing something. But I was surprised at that throw. You know, when you only have 29 seconds and no timeouts, you don't throw a little loop pass to your fullback. You have to get the ball up the field and out towards the sideline.
Philadelphia out of timeouts. Jaworski. Does throw. Incomplete. Glen Young. Turnaround was open. Could have caught it. Should have.
I think he knew he had to get out of bounds, and he looked like it wasn't one of those footsteps deals. It looked like he was trying to get the ball so he could hurry about that 3 yards he needed to get out of bounds.
Dallas 27, Philadelphia 20. The Eagles came out smoking. Got ahead 10-0. Dallas came back. It was 10-10 at the half. And the Cowboys got a break on a fumble and took it in, or got a field goal to go ahead 13-10. It looked like it was out of sight. But now the Eagles had come back, and Jaworski is back to throw again. Batted away. His arm was hit by Ed Too Tall Jones. Late in the game, as you say.
Coach Too Tall says now it's about time to get going so we can finish this thing off and go home. But he'll come from the left of the screen. You know, Jaworski did have Carmichael out here to the left, but he didn't even look at him. So he's starting to throw. He wants to throw out here to the right. See, and there's Too Tall right on that arm as he tries. I think it's tougher and tougher to throw the ball out. Here's the guy he should have thrown it to right here, Harold Carmichael, but he was looking out to the right.
Tough to throw in that direction when Too Tall gets those arms up. And Smirek, who stands next to him, is 6'6". Young inside the 40. Clock running. That should do it. That ought to be a Dallas victory, and it is. They just couldn't get them huddled up in time. It's the Cowboys 27 and the Eagles 20. The Cowboys now move their record to 9-1. Philadelphia is now 4-6. As John Madden has often said, it seems like Dallas just plays well enough to win.
It seems like it. I'll tell you, I think the Eagles really gave them a battle today, but it got into that position where they just didn't have the time or the timeouts, and they were still going for it, but this time ran out on them.
Executive producer Terry O'Neill, senior producer Charles Milton III, Mike Burks, our producer, Sandy Grossman, the director, Don Vetrano, the associate producer, field technical managers Carl Prince, and all the rest of the people who contribute so much. Dallas 27, the Eagles 20. Coming up next, don't forget the NFL Today, the wrap-up show, Brent, Irv, DeGreek, and the scores and the highlights.
Welcome those of you who watched the Dallas Cowboys beat the Philadelphia Eagles, and welcome back those of you who saw the New Orleans Saints beat the Atlanta Falcons.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have won for the first time this season. They are 1-9. They downed the Minnesota Vikings 17-12, and they worked hard all day to accomplish it. Watch now as the Minnesota punter, Greg Coleman, boots along with. Andre Tyler will think about this a moment, and then he says, I can pick it up, but he doesn't. He touches the ball. It's a critical turnover. Joey Browner recovers. The Vikes have got a chance. John McKay says more of the same. You know the Vikings special teams. Here comes Sindeline. There's a touchdown sitting there, but they can't get to it. The ball rolls out of the end zone. That is a safety. Now, Steve Dill's back to pass, and this is the key play. Leroy Selman strips him the ball. The middle guard, Dave Logan, picks it up on the second hop. He rumbles 54 yards for the touchdown. Minnesota was only ahead 9-7. And then James Wilder, who a week ago carried the ball 42 times, came back today with a plus 200-yard day. He has broken the carries record and the yardage record for the Buccaneers, and almost single-handedly, he gets the Tampa Bay Buccaneers into the win column. More scores, and we'll hear from some of the winning Dallas Cowboys when we continue with the NFL Today in just a moment. Welcome back to New York. I'm Brent Musburger with Irv Cross and Jimmy the Greek and the New Orleans Saints. Will they make the playoffs for the first time in the history of that franchise? They've pushed their record to 6-4. It is possible that they will be in a three-way tie by the time the sun sets in the NFC West. Jack Amaro back to punt here for the Falcons. They don't close down the left side of the defense. Jack Amaro with a 12-yard run for a first down. And Dan Henning had Atlanta on the move. William Andrews then pounded across for the Falcons' first touchdown. Dave Wilson was the Saints quarterback because of the injury suffered a couple of weeks ago by Kenny Stabler. He's got Wayne Wilson off the injured list. Wilson battled his way in from 6 yards out. And then Wilson came back with Hokie Guyjon. They were looking for Wilson, and he got across, and the Saints had their first lead in the game. This could have been the key play. George Rogers, turning upfield, found daylight. He rumbled 64 yards, and that set up still another Saint touchdown. Young Dave Wilson out of Illinois pitched this one in to Tyrone Young, and the Saints could be on their way. Next week, a big one. They will be taking on the San Francisco 49ers. New England and Buffalo, and the Patriots hammering the Bills, who finally scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter. It is 21-7 there. Pittsburgh over San Diego, 26-3, and yes, the Steeler defense scored another touchdown. Irv, take us through the highlights of this action.
They also showed some offense earlier, too, Brent. Three Rivers Stadium was really rocking for the Pittsburgh Steelers, as often does. Cliff Stout, the quarterback here, goes to number 34, Walter Abercrombie, over the middle. Walter nestles the ball in and rambles 51 yards for a scoring jaunt there. Pittsburgh all the way. Didn't score, went down inside the 5-yard line. On the next play, Walter Abercrombie now gets a handoff, blast off his left guard for a 6-yard run. This was a story all day for San Diego. Ed Luther having trouble getting the ball, bobbles it, and is picked up by number 47, Mel Blond, who goes in for a touchdown. Coriel's wondering if he's ever going to win a ball game.
And the Steelers pushed their record to 8-2, and the Greek has got a big development because that put the pressure squarely on the shoulders of the Raiders. Jimmy, what just happened in that game?
Martin just intercepted a Kenny pass and ran in for a touchdown with 6 seconds left to play, Brent.
And Chiefs could have won it with a Lowry field goal, so the Raiders are going to close out with a win and stay within one game of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Meanwhile, the Green Bay Packers dominating the Cleveland Browns 35-21. The story here is next week. The Packers play Minnesota. That is our key doubleheader game here on CBS. They'll play it in Minneapolis. Now, because the Vikings lost this game to Tampa Bay, and Green Bay appears to be headed to a win over Cleveland, that will pull the Packers to within one game of Minnesota in the NFC Central Division. The Vikings, by losing to the Cardinals and losing today, have let them back in the race. The Bengals hammer the Oilers 55-14. Pete Johnson was the reason why in that game. He scored 3 touchdowns for the Bengals. What a difference he makes with that team. And there you can see what Jimmy the Greek has just told you. The score is reflected there, 28-20 in the fourth. The Raiders in dramatic fashion. The lead changed hands 4 times in the fourth quarter of that football game, and the Raiders now are going to close out with a very impressive win. And of course, next week they will wait to see what the federal judge decides in the case of Mike Haynes. The Dallas Cowboys beat the Philadelphia Eagles 27-20, and the NFL Today continues on CBS in just a moment. The New England Patriots have completed a sweep this season of the Buffalo Bills, 21-7. The Patriots' record now is 5-5. The Bills sink to 6-4, and the Dolphins are losing to the 49ers at the moment by 7 points. The other final that is in, the Green Bay Packers have moved to 5-5, and they are stalking Minnesota. Showdown next week here on CBS, 35-21. Pat Summerall and John Madden have completed their duties covering the Dallas-Philadelphia game. For a few observations, let's go back to the two at the vet. Pat?
Brent, thank you very much. The score here was 27-20 as Dallas came back from a 10-0 deficit to win it by 7 points. And John, the Dallas record is now 9-1. It looks like they are almost assured of a spot in the playoffs. How do they approach now the rest of the season?
Well, I think the thing is, they were so disappointed last year, first of all, that they lost to the Redskins and they won the Super Bowl. And secondly, that they had a play in Washington. And when they went to camp this year, they said that we're going to have a tougher camp. We're going to have more dedication, more discipline. And we want to not only make the playoffs, but we want to make the playoffs and play them at home. So I think that's the thing that Tom Landry is going to preach from now on.
Well, as you see and you watch him play, there's no spiking, there's no dancing in the end zone, which is another thing that Tom said when they went back to training camp. They look like a very disciplined, dedicated team at this point.
Well, they're a real business-like team. They come in, they're all dressed up, they wear their suits, they come in, they do the job, they do whatever they have to win, and they get on, put the suits back on, and fly home.
Well, so far, whatever they're doing has been very successful. So Dallas wins. Their record is now 9-1. So, with the score here complete at Veterans Stadium, Dallas winning, beating Philadelphia 27-10. Let's take you now back to Brent Musburger in New York.
All right, Pat, thank you. Excellent job, as usual, you and John. Final score, again, is 27-20. These games are in progress. I know you're interested in them. The Washington Redskins, of course, they hope to stay within one game of the Dallas Cowboys in the first quarter. They are scoreless with the St. Louis Cardinals. The Seattle Seahawks have kicked 2 field goals, and they are shutting out the Denver Broncos, a key match in the AFC West. Now, meanwhile, the New York Jets have fallen behind a Raul Allegre field goal. 3-0, the Colts with the lead there. San Francisco, how did the 49ers score against the Dolphins? That's right, Joe Montana to Dwight Clark, 7-0 to count there. Chicago and the Rams are just underway in Anaheim, and there is no score in that game. I want to remind everybody that next Saturday, the NCAA Today will precede this showdown in the Pac-10. UCLA, which hopes to be headed for the Rose Bowl, has to keep winning, and they will take on the Wildcats of Arizona in Tucson. Our airtime again is high noon here on CBS. Now, after that, we will have CBS Sports Saturday coming your way, too. Don't forget the Remsen Stakes. Jimmy the Greek will have something to say about Devil's Bag, that splendid, unbeaten 2-year-old. Now, it would be an understatement for me to say that the passing of George Halas marked the end of any era in football, because Halas' career covered every era in the game's history. Now, as we approach...
There's Charlie Waters, the Cowboys' latest hero, with 2 fumble recoveries. Dallas now 1st and 10 from its 46. Garrison trying to go inside. But boy, do they fill that gap. Had everybody in the middle in there. Mitchell, Jerry Rush, number 82.
And I would have thought at the bottom of the pile, Mike Lucci, number 53, and he is one of the best middle linebackers you're ever going to watch play football. He's in his 9th year out of Tennessee. Joe Schmidt is on record as saying that he's the best middle linebacker in football today. That includes a lot of them, and I'm thinking of one big Chicago Bear, Dick Butkus.
2nd and 10. Thomas to the 50, to the 45. Dwayne Thomas is close for the first down at the 44-yard line.
We've been watching him do it all year long. Somehow or other, they just can't seem to get Dwayne Thomas down. He breaks more tackles than most football players you'll ever watch, and he's just the rookie.
Just shy of the first down. 3rd down, less than a yard needed for the first down for Dallas from the Detroit 44.
That, of course, was Pettis Norman delivering head coach Tom Landry's play to Craig Morton. And this will be the play.
Thomas has the first down at the 40.
To him. I'm quite sure that's going to be the call.
You're exactly right. That was an interesting battle between little Johnny Outlaw and Pearson. Pearson, watch it. Watch Pearson out-muscle him and out-maneuver.
Well,
tell you something, he was behind him in a good shape. That's true, but Outlaw judged that pass and came in to pick it off, and Pearson was just too tall. That will make it 1st and 15. The ball back at the 24-yard line. The two tight ends are now in for Dallas, Dupree and Cugin. Newhouse running away from his blockers and picking up yardage, getting very close to the first down, out to the 37-yard line. He will be short, however. Steve Zabel moved over to make the stop for Philadelphia. Boy, this little guy has shown some kind of guts, Alex. He was shaken up. I thought he was seriously injured, and he's back in the ball game and producing.
Well, I've been impressed with Newhouse. He's carried six times for 50 yards already tonight, and he's doing a good job. He's a good football player, and Kelvin Hill's great, but Newhouse is just as good as far as I'm concerned.
All right, it's 2nd down and 3. Frank Gifford along with Howard Cosell. Alex Karras, no score. We're halfway through the 2nd quarter from Philadelphia's Veterans Stadium. The Cowboys and the Eagles. Pearson motions to the right. Back. Going out with this little screen to Robert Newhouse. You saw the big tackle, Rayfield right out in front of it. That's what the attempt was.
Well, one of the big plays, of course, besides the running of Dorsett and Newhouse, passes to Tony Hill and to Ron
13:53. We lost 6 seconds. Can you put it back, please?
And you can hear Fred Silva saying that we lost 6 seconds with incredible last-minute heroics.
I remember them very well.
Rafael Septien trying to kick it through. Pulled by Charlie Waters, and the kick. Nope, he's going to kick it all the way to Waycross.
You know, we used to be able to jump on a guy's back and jump up and block the kick. Minnesota was very good at that. Bud Grant's team did a good job of that. We used to do it. Then they put in a rule that you can't step on a man and get elevation, get extra height to block a kick.
So on the 1-yard run by Robert Newhouse, and by the way, the clock is still at 13:47. So it is 1st and 10 on the 20-yard line. Atlanta leading 24-17. Wojtkowski cautiously on the ground, getting out to about the 24-yard line.
It's in 49 yards. Took them only a couple of plays, and they now lead 14-0. About that later. Dwight Walker at the 7, 15, 20, 30, and out to the 33-yard line. And you can see why Walker was so highly regarded by the scouts of the Cleveland Browns. He almost turned that one loose for a long gainer, and a flag is down. Whoops. Cleveland will have it called back. Illegal use of the hands.
That's a shame, because that's the kind of aggressive running and the kind of big play that Sam Ratigliano's Browns need to get back into this game. Dick Brian Sipe said last week after the game, he said, I'd have booed myself in the first half. I'm afraid the same is true today.
Number 51 on the kicking team, illegal pushing it back.
Eddie Johnson, number 51, the guilty party on the illegal block, but Sipe has got to get going. Had a much better second half, and well, the Browns better hope that he can do the same here today.
Well, they've had that cardiac kid kind of leadership with the Browns coming from behind in his career. They'll have to do it again today. Just a yard gain for Mike Pruitt. While we have a moment, Sam Ratigliano's daughter Carrie is in a Cleveland hospital, and we want to wish her well, and that gives us an opportunity to Sipe in trouble. And down he goes at the 8-yard line. Too tall Jones.
Get right into Brian Sipe's shoes there. He drops back. It's number 72, Ed Too Tall Jones, using that tremendous height advantage to reach out and strip the legs out from underneath Brian Sipe.
Look at the numbers, 6'9", 272, and Jones finally last year.
Roger Staubach. And Roger, let's talk a little bit about what you think might be the weakness of Washington, the secondary. Is Danny White going to go work right away up there, you think?
I think there's some weaknesses in their secondary. Dallas has lived and breathed on the big play to Hill, to Pearson, to Cosby, to Dorsett. They can throw against Washington's secondary. Also, the running defense of Washington has been really behind a little bit the last 4 or 5 weeks, and the real fine running backs have run well on him, so Dorsett should be able to run against Washington also.
You think he's a fine running back, do you?
I classify him as a pretty good running back.
On the other side now, Joe Theismann has also begun to really move the football to a lot of different receivers. People like Art Monk and company. Obviously, the Dallas secondary is young and inexperienced. Can they work on that other secondary?
Well, you're right, Tommy. There's Monk. He's a fine receiver. Theismann really goes to a lot of different receivers. Monk is the big one, the key one, but he goes to Metcalf, to Washington, to Warren. They can really move the ball around. I think they're going to have a hard time running against the Dallas defense, but they should be able to throw against the Dallas secondary, Tommy.
Okay, Roger. Mark Mosley approaching the kickoff. The Cowboys obviously have won that toss. Jonesy back to take now for Dallas. It is a sellout, obviously. Late afternoon start, and we're ready. Mosley's kick, and he gets a big hang time. It's going to be taken by number 30. Out to the 22-yard line, breaks a tackle, and gets out to almost the 30-yard line. That's Newsome making the run back. Good field position on a very high hanging kickoff by Mark Mosley. Here's that offense. Danny White, the young man that replaced my colleague today. Tony Dorsett, the great rusher, perhaps one of the greatest of all time. Ronnie Springs, who can catch it coming out of there. And, of course, the greats Tony Hill and Drew Pearson. Up front, B.J. Dupre at tight end. Pat Donovan, even though he's got a few injuries, he's going to play anyway. Herbert Scott, Rafferty, Peterson, and Jimmy Cooper at right tackle.
Well, the Dallas is in pretty good field position. Normally, they like to start out with a deceptive something.
At 7 to 10 p.m. Check out the special events at the Ritz, like live concerts and comedy night. Throw your next private party in the Liquid Lounge upstairs at the Ritz. The Ritz, the coolest nightclub with the best drink specials in the Basin. Corner of Main and Texas, downtown Midland.
Dick's Seebeck lift kits have the best setup for all four-wheel drive on and off-road vehicles, including commercial trucks. Dick's Seebeck lift kits are manufactured right here in Big Spring with the latest high-tech equipment for cutting, assembling, powder coating, and packaging, ready to ship nationwide. Now you don't have to wait. Get yours today at Maxell Tires, Highway 87 North, next to Trio Fuels.
We're in Melbourne, down under in Australia for the Australian Open women's semi-final. Venus Williams taking on Justine Henin-Ardern. We're going to move ahead now to action later in the match.
This is a previous engagement.
Down in front of Fitzgerald. Set moves. And now moves again. Pass outside intended for Tony Hill. Mike Dennis right with him.
High and behind.
The Rams, who looked overwhelming last week against the Giants, are doing just that for San Francisco. 20-0. Second quarter.
I think we agreed last week they're the best team that we had seen this year, and I haven't seen Pittsburgh, so I'm not trying to get anybody mad, but there's a better physical team than the Rams around. I don't think I've ever seen it.
They are just huge. Seem to have things back together after all that confusion and argument and dissension and disagreement early in the year. Sally and Billy Joe Dupree both in the game at the same time. Dorsett. And again they have a handle on him, and again
Those who wonder if one of the great runs in Grand Slam tennis in recent years were derailed by a blister, but let's be fair, Serena was struggling mightily before that delay and then injury.
Derailed by herself. She should not want to have any regrets about this match. And I believe she's going to have plenty of regrets if she's not able to dig herself out of this tremendous hole.
A brain lock and a Belgian and a blister. Inspiring. out there fighting.
30-15.
Well, Kim Clijster's a game away from a true personal triumph. A spot in the Australian Open final will serve for that when we come back.
Cowboys on first down had their nickel package in. Their 5 defensive backs, and they are still in there now. Billy White Shoes Johnson in motion. Archer back. Under a little bit of pressure, goes deep left side and overthrows the intended receiver, Charlie Brown. And that will bring up a 3rd down and 10. And the Cowboys again adjust defensively. There is Dan Henning, now in the final year of a 3-year contract. And what an interesting conversation we had with him last night about his team and how the atmosphere on the Falcons has been very, very good despite the 6 losses in succession. That they believe in what he and his staff are trying to accomplish, and that they've responded quite well. Last week got their first win. 3rd down, 9. No score. Joe Washington in the backfield. White Shoes starts. Now goes all the way across, followed by Walls. Blitz. And Don Smerrick, just activated on Friday, goes right over the back of Dave Archer. That is only the 4th sack that Atlanta has given up in the last 2.5 games.
Well, you're going to look at this again. Smerrick, number 60. This is not a blitz. They fake the blitz. They come back outside, and then on the inside, you're going to see Jeffcoat coming outside, and then looping around is Smerrick, number 60. Now, Archer sees him coming, and he says, oh, my gosh, let me get out. Fresh legs. So he hits the ground, and Smerrick gets the sack.
Rick Donnelly is the punter for Atlanta this year, averaging 41.2 with a long of 56. And Bill Bates is back to return. Punt returns have been a consistent problem for the Cowboys this year. Bates has it on the run. And Dallas does come out with fine field position at the 46 after Jeff Jackson makes the tackle on Bill Bates. 13 minutes and 6 seconds to go, first quarter. We are scoreless.
A lot of kill time there, huh?
Yeah, that's a tough way to start a game.
I didn't want to say it, but he got a broken
leg. There's
yeah.
no question about it. Yeah. You can see it, almost see it snap. Yeah. Maybe an ankle, huh?
Well, it's above the ankle. You can see almost, they gave him a shot, so you know they gave him a shot.
Yeah. Does it sound all right?
You didn't hear it still? I'll be darned. Well, I'll tell you what, until we get that fixed, if it starts to count, I'll just give it like this.
Okay, we got here. Now we've got Rady.
Dallas started with. Okay.
Dallas started with 5 defensive backs.
Yes.
They started with Thurman, brought Thurman in.
Okay, we've got the regular Atlanta offense, right? Our defense. Okay. Okay.
Is it Rady? Rady. 56 again. Richardson, Rady. Rady would be the left outside.
Cowboys on offense will open with Danny White after a 1-week rest because of sore ribs. Dorsett, Newsome, Hill, and Renfro in the other skill position spots. Posderick will open at left tackle after Chris Schultz has started the last 4 games. Kurt Peterson had some neck problems on Friday, but he's back in there, and Doug Cosby is having a potential all-pro year at tight end.
First down and 10. Danny White, having sat out last week for the season, 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. First down, 10 Dallas.